A grand business conference hall. A large audience of entrepreneurs, media, and dignitaries sit in rows. Bright lights shine on stage. Arav Mehta, in a formal suit, walks up to receive the Innovative Entrepreneur of the Year award. Arav's speech. I am deeply honored to receive this award. But let me tell you something important today. This award doesn't belong to me alone. The real reason I'm standing here is because of Mira Madam, a woman whose kindness and trust changed the direction of my life. She gave me a chance when I was at my worst, when I didn't deserve one. Without her, I would not be here in front of you all. This is not just an award for entrepreneurship. This is a monument of trust, humanity, and second chances. Mira Madam, wherever you are, this is yours. Among the seated audience, an elderly man suddenly reacts emotionally upon hearing the name Mira Madam. His face changes, his hands tremble, and he collapses to the ground. An elderly man in the crowd, white beard, traditional attire, clutches his chest with wide eyes as Arav says, Mira Madam. He falls slowly from his seat. People around him rush in panic. Emotional 3D frame with high detail and urgency. Scene 19 at the hospital setting, hospital emergency room, night. Mr. Rajan Iyer is being given oxygen. A nurse tells the receptionist he's stable, but he was emotionally overwhelmed. Arav rushes to the hospital, shaken. He asks, who is this man? Why did he collapse after hearing Mira Madam's name? The receptionist checks. He's registered as Rajan Iyer. We're trying to find his family. Arav waits outside the hospital setting. Outside a quiet hospital building at night. Emergency lights flash occasionally. Arav is seated alone on a metal bench near the entrance, leaning forward, lost in thought. Arav's inner monologue. Why did that man collapse right after I said Mira Madam's name? Was it just a coincidence? Or does he know her? Is Mira Madam connected to him? Is she in trouble? Or was it just a health issue? Hospital waiting area. Early morning light peeking through the glass. Arav, restless, begins to dig deeper into who Mr. Rajan Iyer really. Am I imagining things? Or was that collapse really because of what I said on stage? Arav talks briefly to the nurse at the counter and learns that the man's name is Rajan Iyer and he's a former entrepreneur, now retired. Curious and suspicious, Arav quietly clicks a photo of Mr. Iyer from the hospital records board, or with permission from the nurse. He sends this photo to a journalist friend or event organizer who has knowledge of past business awardees. Arav, messaging to friends, do you know this man? He collapsed at today's function. I think he reacted when I mentioned Mira Madam. A few moments later, Arav receives a message back. That's Mr. Rajan Iyer, of course. He's a legend. He won the same Best Entrepreneur Award 3 times in the early 90s. One of the greats. But no public words link him to any Mira Madam, at least not that we know of. Arav's thoughts interflict. He's a respected businessman, a veteran. But no link to Mira? Then why did he collapse when he heard her name? Was it just shock? Is there something personal he's hiding? Arav obtains the book. Arav rushes to a bookstore or orders it online. He flips through the pages late at night, highlighting parts, searching for any clue that might explain the connection between Rajan Iyer and Mira Madam. Notable mentions in the autobiography, see narrative highlights. My wife, Lakshmi Iyer, was my strength. But we lost our daughter at a very young age due to personal differences. She left home in her 20s. We never heard from her again. Her name was Mira. If I could change one thing in my life, I would go back and tell her I was wrong. If you ever read this, Mira, know that I never stopped hoping you'd come back. Arav stops flipping pages. He sits stunned, hands frozen on the book. His eyes widen with shock and understanding. Mira Madam is Rajan Iyer's daughter? She helped me, but never mentioned her family. Did she leave them behind? Is this why he collapsed when he heard her name? Does he even know she's alive? As Arav reads further into Rajan Iyer's autobiography, the pages slowly begin to uncover the truth about Mira's younger years. A woman who chose love and kindness over wealth and status. From the book, he come to know that Rajan Iyer's daughter Mira was unlike anyone else in the family. While I built businesses, she built relationships, humble, selfless, and kind-hearted. She never cared for luxury. Even as a child, she gave her pocket money to beggars, cared for stray animals, and stood up for the voiceless. In college, she fell in love with a boy I could never accept. An orphan, no background, no surname of pride. His name was Adel Nair. I rejected the idea violently. I forbid her from ever seeing him again. But Mira, with tears in her eyes and dignity in her voice, left home. She chose love and left everything behind. Now I understand why she was so kind, why she trusted me, a stranger. She herself had once been rejected, broken, but chose to lift someone else up. Arav, still reading Rajan Iyer's book alone in his apartment, turns to the final chapters. And the tone of the memoir changes drastically. Passage from the autobiography. Years passed and I never heard from my daughter again. Not a letter, not a phone call. I hoped she was happy, until one day I received news I never wanted to believe. A car accident in the Western Ghats. A vehicle carrying a man, woman, and 2 children fell off a mountain pass. The bodies of the man and woman were recovered and identified as my daughter, Mira, and her husband, Adel. The children's bodies were never found. Officials assumed they were lost to the valley or drowned. Search efforts failed. I was left with nothing. No family, no closure, only memories, and since then silence.